All right, if you can look at the screen, this is what our time frame is. We're going to try to stay within that time frame, please. All right, we're going to just start with a little music here. So you can continue to talk. You can fill out those yellow tickets. We'll be with you momentarily. Everybody. Happy New Year!
Happy New Year!
Now it's time to get started. Roll up our sleeves and get to work. So before we do that, let's get a quiet room and join us in a prayer. Andrew's going to lead us. All rise, please. Heavenly Father, as we turn the calendar into a new year 2024, many of us come with saddened hearts about where our country is going. It's not politicians, but you we look to for hope. But we ask you to help us when the election's coming up in November to make America great. We ask you to give us the proper talents, treasures, and the time
and for people to be dedicated, not just sit back and complain, but we ask you to inspire them to do something, because this is our country, and no politician can do it alone. So we ask you to bless this meeting. Amen.
Amen.
And remain standing. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And if you can remain standing for the national anthem.
Oh, say can
You see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? USA!
Okay, so I want to welcome all of you again here on behalf of our board, and we are anxious and concerned a little bit about our country, but we're turning our anxiety into action, and we're going to hear from 3 candidates that want to run for Congress tonight, and I think Andrew might have a few words to say as well at this point.
We just want to thank you on behalf of the Lehigh Valley Tea Party Board for being here this evening. There are some people that say we don't do anything. There's a lot that goes on here to make this meeting happen, so I want to let you know that. We are here for you, but we also need your help. How do we need your help? Members. We need you to be members, because members have certain opportunities to do things here in the Tea Party that non-members do. Also, we need money to run this show, meaning this evening and other things we do, we need money. We have operating costs. I used to say when I was young, an older guy told me, he said, no money, no honey. He was talking about a girl, of course, but in this case, we're talking about running a Tea Party. So we need members, money, and we also need people to do things. So there are things to do. But we want to welcome you tonight, and we hope you have a great evening. And the next slide, I'm going to let Tom read.
You assume I can read. After the break, we will take questions from the audience. However, they will be via text message only. So if you received a text message from us tonight saying, thank you for checking in, text us your question by replying to that message. So if you got that now, so you have to be a member, you have to have gotten your text message saying welcome to the meeting tonight, and then you can text your questions in. It's important. The important part, you must put the name of the person you are directing it to first. As an example, for Ryan, you might say, how long have you been in the Pennsylvania legislature? And that's a question for Ryan McKenzie. Just as one example.
Okay. In regards to literature being placed at tables, this is something that unfortunately has happened in the past. This is a private members organization, so you can't come in here and just start putting out, I'm having a garage sale, or I'm supporting this person, that person, because it's happened. I mean, I see some fine places, but it's happened that people just start putting literature down. That's grounds for removal. You must get permission or approval from the board to do that. So please, if you could kindly respect that, we would greatly appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, so our membership and treasury report as of the 25th of December, 7,000, we don't have it cut off.
That's a typo. We're just making sure you can buy some glasses this year.
7,300. And the bank balance, $61,492.06. The credit line, always $10,000. And okay, how many people here tonight are here for the first time?
Please stand up. Please stand up.
Stand up. We sincerely appreciate you taking your time to come out here tonight. I believe we share your values and that we understand that we must save our nation, and this is the last chance we have to do it. So thank you for coming out. Hopefully you'll join as a new member and you'll start participating with our organization because we need to win these battles this year. And thank you for coming tonight. We have a 50-50 raffle at the end of the meeting. Tim is sitting back there, Tom Jury's back there. Buy your tickets at the break and then we'll call it at the end. And then the 2A committee back there, Melissa and Steve, they're selling tickets. We sell 100. When we sell all 100, we then draw at that drawing. And so as soon as we sell, how close are we?
25 left.
So we can sell 25 tickets and draw that at the end of the meeting as well tonight.
Okay, the next one is the one I keep mentioning. On your tables there are yellow tickets. We are calling it our Guns and Goodies raffle. So that's our major fundraiser to get us started for the year. There are 6 guns there that you can win. If you got the text blast earlier today or earlier this week, you can actually click on the link and there's a guy named Hitchcock that shows you those guns. If you don't want the gun, you can go to Boyer and say, I'd like to cash that in for the cash value. Or you could upgrade or downgrade to a different handgun. Tom is holding up there, unless someone stole it, the Donald Trump hat. Oh, Bill Bockerberg has the Donald Trump hat here, autographed by Donald Trump. There are several restaurants there, so it's a $20 investment. We would appreciate your consideration. And we also want to acknowledge and thank all of the companies, including the High Valley Sporting Place, and the Boyer, Farm and Table, Pizza Chef, Don Juan Mexican Restaurant, Diageo Pizza, Orchard, Steakhouse, for being so kind and helping us with some of those products. And we thank you for all of you who purchased a ticket. And I also would like to personally acknowledge I had several what I call sellers. I had about 15 or 20 sellers that sold 20 tickets. Some of them sold 600. We had one person sell a couple thousand. We had another person that sold close to 1,000. So that means a lot to us. So we thank each and every one of you.
So if you're short on cash and you want to buy merchandise or participate tonight financially, you can purchase the LVTP chip with your credit card, and that's over there with Ty and Isabel over there if you want to do that so you can spend more money.
All right. Scouts going to West Point. We have gone several years. One of those scouts applied to West Point. He got his congressional letter. He has everything other than his physical. So I'm hoping next year, that young man who I've seen grown up from age 10 to now he is an Eagle Scout. He has all his paperwork in. He just has to pass the physical. He'll be going to hopefully West Point next year. He's a conservative. And hopefully he'll be one of our leaders. The way I pay for the major expenses, travel, and boy do those guys eat, let me tell you. Those kids empty all those food trays like you won't believe. So it costs me a lot, so I don't make much off those cakes and cannolis. So if you could help us out by buying some cakes and cannolis or dropping some money in the bucket, I would appreciate it. Okay?
All right, we have new merchandise in the back. We have merchandise every month in the back, but this month we have the old Lehigh Valley t-shirts that are hanging on the rack up there. We now have them in all sizes, so go back and purchase some merchandise at the break as well. Andrew?
All right. The next thing is, if you are a person that has a handgun, a rifle, a shotgun, even if someone comes into your house and you have to defend yourself, You're probably going to get sued. All right, so what would you need? A lawyer. To go to a lawyer, you're going to need a retainer. That's going to be very expensive. Ask Tom Carroll. I couldn't even afford him. Anyway, U.S. Law Shield for under $200, you are covered for 12 calendar months. But if you join through the Tea Party, and I believe the flyers are back there, there's a code, which is LVTP.org, I believe, you get an additional 2 months. Even if you get in a physical altercation. There's people out there, you hit them with a car, they get out, they punch you punch them back, you're going to get sued. You're covered for that. So it's a good investment. If you have any questions, see me during the break.
Al? She needs no introduction, so...
Hey, Valerie.
Hey!
Good evening, everybody, and a healthy, happy new year. I have a question. How many made New Year's resolutions? Really? Okay, of you, how many broke them already? Okay. Usually I don't make them, but I decided to do something January 1st, they were gone. Okay, anyway, but here's your opportunity. It's never too late in the year or in the day to do something good for others, and that's to support our military. We have a lot of new people here, so they have no idea who I am. For 15 years, my husband and I have been sending free care packages to our military. So if you have a neighbor, a son, a grandson, anyone, come see me. There's a lot going on tonight, so I won't go into details. But we send free care packages. I've sent 3,500 over the years. So, real fast. We don't have time for that. Thank you. So, recently, I heard from a grandmother. See, when we started this, we used to get letters from the kids. Now we hear from the grandparents. Anyway, she said that he loved her packages, but could he send them another one? And I said, of course. But I thought, you know, like you were all, he was sending them so much at Christmas. She said the first year was, he loved the military. He also liked our packages, but he doesn't know who we are. And that's the deal. He gets from his family, but she said he's having a really rough time. I said, don't worry, it'll go out this week. Because he knows that we're strangers, and this is not the first time this happened, and they love to hear from all of you. So I have note cards over there in the break. Come see me, take some cards, write a letter. If you want to drop a few bucks in there, you can. If you want to buy toothpaste, that's what I need. Or beef jerky, that's fine. And here's something just to prove my point. Dear Blair and Valerie Ferguson and the members of Support the Troops, and that's many of you. Greetings from the Middle East. Thank you for your group's past generosity. We have received the care packages here in Bahrain, and you have sent over the last few months. My soldiers and I are very appreciative that you took the time, the effort, and financial resources to send all of the items that you did. It's always great to be remembered by people and groups back home in the Lehigh Valley, especially during these difficult times. Obviously, things are very fluid in our area of operations right now, but we are safe and doing well as we move towards Christmas. Additionally, I am humbled each day by the amazing men and women all over our base doing extraordinary things. This includes our allies present here from all over the world that are trying to preserve the peace and the freedom of movement around the Middle East and Africa. Rest assured, we are good guys in this neighborhood doing good things. If we were not here, life would be very different for the region and the world. Finally, we wish you, your families, a Merry Christmas, a Happy Hanukkah, Happy New Year. Take care. God bless you and your families, and God bless the United States of America. Very respectfully, Master Sergeant Sean Boyle. So, I thank all of you that support me in doing what I do, and God bless all of you. Let's go, America.
All right, before we welcome our first candidate up just want to inform everybody that we as a organization have a steering committee which vets possible candidates. We sent out questionnaires to the candidates. On your tables, you will see a couple of copies of the questionnaires that we sent out to the candidates for them to send back to us, and then in the cover letter that we sent. So you sort of have some understanding of the process. Our goal was to bring them forward so they can educate us, because we are not a political party. We are a 501c4, and we are hoping to promote conservative values among our candidates, but also in the further society. So I am very pleased that we were able to get so many people here tonight to participate in this, and we have 3 candidates that are going to talk to you. We're going to give them each 15 minutes. So Kevin's going to go first, Maria Montero's here, and Ryan McKenzie's going to go. We're going to go alphabetical order for the first part of this. Each is going to get 15 minutes, and they're going to have a clock right here in front of them. So when it gets to 0, we're going to shut off their mic. And what I also told them all was they're free to do what they want for their 15 minutes. And then we'll take a break, and then we're going to bring them all back, and then that's when that advice about how you text questions, and we'll have them all go through. But I just want to say one more thing about this election cycle. I saw an ad by from the Biden team that they put out just yesterday or today. It's a 1-minute ad, and he's talking about insurrection, and that's all these candidates are going to face, is insurrection and the pro-life issue. So we, as a base, have to understand that that is an obstacle that all our candidates running for State House, State Senate, and the U.S. Congress are going to face, and we need to help all of these candidates direct their campaigns in a way that sends their message and counters that horrible narrative. Because Joe Biden is going to be in Valley Forge, just a couple miles down from here, on Saturday, talking about the biggest danger to America, which is the Trump base. So we can't stand for that, and we, as a group, as an organization, will hold our candidates to the fire as well, to stand up and not run a race that is traditionally based in consultants. And they have to understand that this is the last chance we have to save our country, and our opinion is that we want to hear from them, and they're going to tell us how they're going to win, but we want to make sure that they're going to listen to us and not the consulting class. So with that, I want to welcome them and welcome Kevin as our first speaker tonight.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you to the steering committee, Tea Party. Been a long time coming. Glad to be here. I have some special guests I want to recognize tonight. I have my mom and dad that came. They're with me tonight. My mom is a retired school teacher. My dad is a former Vietnam vet that did 3 tours flying A4s off an aircraft carrier. I also have a whole contingent from Carbon County here, led by my Aunt Sandy and Uncle Dan. Sandy has been a leader in the Tea Party movement in Carbon County for some time, and I'm really grateful that you came out tonight as well. Also, many friendly faces and supporters and volunteers that I see all around the room. It's wonderful to see all of you out here tonight. Susan came home today at 4:30, so my wife Susan, not Susan Wild, different and she came up to my office and she saw me staring at the computer screen, and I had 3 lines written. One of them said, "Who I am." The second line said, "What am I going to do?" And the third line said, "How am I going to get there?" And she looked at me and she said, "Is that your speech for tonight?" And I said, "Yeah, you know, the day caught up with me, and this is a really important meeting, and I've been thinking about it for a long, long time, but I just don't have anything written down. I'm going to have to speak off the cuff." And she said, "Look," she said, "just be yourself. That's what they want to hear. That's what you do the best. So I guess that's what you're all going to get here tonight." I figured the best way to start is to talk about what I did during my day today. Got up early. I went out, fed the chickens and the ducks, collected the eggs, fed the cats, let the dog out. My 2 sons who are home from college, one of them had a dentist appointment, so I sent him on his way. The other one had to go run to the butcher to pick up the deer that my youngest son shot last week. So I grabbed deer sticks on the way out for dinner tonight, which was a wonderful meal. Said goodbye to Susan, who's a school teacher at Palmerton, and then I went to work. And I spent the first couple hours campaigning, emailing supporters, volunteers, potential donors. This is all before the day really started. Then I had to go do my regular job. I own a cybersecurity and broadband infrastructure company. So I had calls with 2 clients, one of them about a massive project I'm working on right now in New Jersey, where we're connecting new broadband infrastructure to almost 800 different sites all across the state. And then I had another call with a school district outside Metro New York City, where we're protecting their critical infrastructure using cybersecurity methods. After those calls were over, I had another campaign call, called a few donors. One of the donors said he wasn't going to give me any money, but he would pray for me. I said, I'm okay with that, and we did. And then I had some military duties to do. I'm in the National Guard, and we had a really important set of calls today because I had to pick a new operations officer to oversee the combat operations that my unit does all the time, 24/7. I'm the commander of an MQ-9 Reaper unit. Those are the armed reconnaissance drones that we fly all around the world on counterterrorism missions. It's a real-world mission. I do it part-time, and I've been in the service for 28 years. That's a typical day for Kevin Delaware. That's not a typical day for most people who are running for office. And the reason I say this to you, and I offer up this experience, is because we don't live in typical times. And we don't need typical career politicians to go to Washington and tackle these problems. We need people with relevant, deep leadership experience on the most important issues that affect us today. And that's what I'm here to offer to you. First and foremost, I'm a family man. I met my wife Susan out in Harrisburg. She's from the Pittsburgh area originally. When I grew up, I was actually a Steelers fan. Sorry for all you Eagles fans out there. I've been a Steelers fan all my life. I'm a Steelers fan because my dad met Roger Staubach in Vietnam, and the Cowboys always played the Steelers when I was a little kid, so I rooted against the Cowboys just because my dad was a Cowboys fan. That was fortunate for me because I probably wouldn't have been able to marry Susan because she is such a diehard Steelers fan, and we were able to work that out. She's an amazing woman. She and I raised 3 amazing sons. I already talked about Eli. He's a sophomore at Penn State, majoring in engineering. My middle son, Jake, is a student at Grove City College, and he's preparing to go to law school. And my oldest son, Will, is a youth pastor in New Tripoli, and he is on an adventure right now. Last Sunday, Susan and I dropped Will off at an armory in Bradford, Pennsylvania. He's in the Army National Guard, and he's one of these hundreds of soldiers who was headed to the Horn of Africa for a 9-month-long military deployment. It's different when it's your own son, isn't it? Anybody ever experienced that before? A few of you. Will's enlistment ended in October. He was free and clear. He had already done his 6 years. And when he found out that his buddies were getting sent overseas to the combat zone, he re-upped just so that he could go. That's the kind of kid that Will is. He inspires me every day, and I really, truly hope that you keep him in your prayers because he's going to a very dangerous place. I'm not just giving it to my family. I work with other families. I have a business, and I take interns, and I'm up to 26 kids and counting. I meet with these students from Metro New York City every other Wednesday, either in person or via Zoom, and I teach them about the technology business. But I also teach them entrepreneurship skills. I teach them how to shake hands and look adults in the eye and sit up straight. I give them a lesson on the difference between capitalism and socialism. How about that? Metro New York City, in New Jersey, in public schools, I would think I'd get run out of town. But you know what happened? They gave me Business Partner of the Year for the work I'm doing with these kids. Because I'm preparing them for future jobs and work in mental health. I coached 20 seasons of youth sports. Basketball, no, oh my goodness, basketball. Baseball, wrestling, and soccer. Sorry, that knocked me off point. People, when I had my third son, people used to say, just 2 more and you'll have a basketball team. And I said, look at their dad, that's never going to happen. Anyway, but the neatest thing that I'm going to be doing with young people this year is I'm going to be able to officiate 2 weddings. I'm trained as a Christian minister. I have a Master of Divinity from Liberty. And 2 of my son's friends asked me if I would do their weddings. So that's going to be a really amazing experience. The point of all this is that if you want strong families, send somebody to Congress who has a strong family. Let's talk about the military. 28 years in counting. I enlisted as an infantry soldier. I transferred to the Air Force and became an intelligence officer. And that's when I started deploying overseas. On 9/11, I was in Harrisburg with my wife Susan. I went into the unit. Went back and forth for a few days, and I called her up and said, Susan, I'm heading overseas. I can't tell you where I'm going. I don't know how long I'll be gone. And we'll have no contact while we're away. What does your wife say when you say that to her?
I love you.
That's what she said. I love you. She swallowed hard, and she said, I love you. And I went. And I left her. We had just moved into a new house. The moving vans hadn't even arrived yet. She was pregnant with our second child, and she had a 14-month-old that she had to look after. She did it. She did it again in 2003 when I went overseas for Operation Iraqi Freedom. She did it in 2007 again when I went back over for Operation Iraqi Freedom. She did it in 2009 when I went to Afghanistan. That time when I got off the airplane, she greeted me and gave me a hug, and she said, Kevin, I'm going out with my girlfriends. I'm not going to tell you how long I'm going to be gone. Get the picture. It's not a talking point, ladies and gentlemen, to say support the troops. Okay? This is ingrained in our family, in our blood, and it means something to me. Service is important. I've got a master's in military operations. I'm a graduate of Air War College, Air Command and Staff College. I'm a lieutenant colonel. I'm the commander of a unit. And if I get to Congress, I'm going to have some of the most experience and longest tenure of any representative in Congress that exists down there today. Now that's kind of pathetic when you think about it, really. I'm a part-time National Guardsman from New Tripoli, Pennsylvania. There's not a major military base for miles around. And I'm going to have more experience than most anybody else down there. You want to know why our military is messed up right now?
That's why.
Because of that.
That's why.
When I was a kid, 70% of the people in Congress were military veterans. You know what the number is today? 18%. That's why our members of Congress don't stand up to the military brass, and they don't stand up to the civilian leadership, and they don't know how to modernize our military and get it ready for China. My number one priority when I get to Congress is to get on that Armed Services Committee and fix our military and restore peace through training and become a true republic again that we used to be. I'm a small business owner. My wife and I started our own business back in 2005. I had an idea. I wanted to be able to save taxpayers money and drive out broadband infrastructure and help kids learn all at the same time. So I sold the idea to my boss. He said, great idea, but that's not what we do. So I sold the idea to Susan, and she was game. She became my business partner. She was the operations manager, the HR person, the office supply person, and she did it all while she had 3 babies crawling all over her in the house. I did the work. I've been doing it now for 18 years. We run a successful cybersecurity and broadband infrastructure company. To date, we saved taxpayers $550 million in counting. We built new broadband infrastructure for more than 2,000 locations. And we helped 80 school districts improve student academic performance. And you know what? We did it all without any federal taxpayer dollars like Susan Wild always wants to propose. I want to work on the budget committee when I get to Congress. Because besides improving our military, getting our budget under control is the other existential threat we face as a nation. We're on the brink of insolvency, ladies and gentlemen. You know that. And we need to send somebody to Congress who's got the guts to stand up and make the tough votes. That's where I'm going. And that's the difference between me and the career politicians. You see, I don't need this job for my livelihood. It's not my profession. It's not my career. If I make a tough vote and you or my neighbors send me back to Germansville, then I just go back to work. It doesn't end my career. It doesn't mean I don't feel good about myself anymore. It doesn't mean that I have to go find some other profession because I already have another profession. That's what makes me different from the other people that are trying to do this job. That's why I'm going to win, and that's why I'm going to be effective. A wise man said to me, run this race like the fate of your country depends upon it. That's what I'm doing. I'm putting everything I got into this. And when I see my supporters out there who are putting everything they got into it, helping me, I'm doing it for them, I'm doing it for my kids, I'm doing it for my neighbors, I'm doing it for my country. But that same man also said that while you're putting in that effort, you need to understand and acknowledge that He's in control.
Amen.
And all the work that you can do and all the effort that you can put in is dependent on His sovereign will. I'm okay with that, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for your support, and God bless.
Thank you, Kevin. Next up is Ryan McKenzie. As he's coming up to the stage, I just wanted to point out that I have seen a lot of faces today here who haven't been here in a while, so I just wanted to again welcome you back, and hopefully you'll be coming back through the year 24. We need everybody here in the next year, so come on up, Ryan. And specifically, I also want to thank Bruce Haynes for coming out tonight. He's the manager, partner at Hotel Bethlehem. He's been a great friend of our organization, and I want to welcome Bruce here tonight as well.
All right. Well, good evening, Lehigh Valley Tea Party. It is a pleasure to be back, and I am State Representative Ryan McKenzie. For those of you that don't know me, I see a lot of familiar faces in the crowd this evening, but also a lot of new faces, which is wonderful. And I'm going to talk a little bit about why I'm running for Congress. I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself, my record as a state representative for 12 years. And then I'm also going to tell you about what's going on, what we have to do to get our country back on the right track, why I feel I'm the most electable candidate to do that without compromising my conservative values, and then also talk about the 2024 election. And on the table, I have also put out some handouts. So there's a palm card that we do and hand out for door to door. There is also a document that looks like this, which is my 4 Principles for America plan. It lays out my track record on all different issues in the state legislature and how I'm going to vote if I'm elected to Congress. And that is so important because all too often we have politicians and candidates who run for political office They say they're the most conservative person in the world. They tell you everything that they want to hear. And then when they get to office, they let us down, time and time again. So let's talk about why I'm running for Congress. We are losing our country. Okay? Joe Biden, Susan Wild, the socialists, the far left, they are destroying our country with their policies every single day. When it comes to the economy, they pass massive spending packages which promote things like the Green New Deal and their radical climate agenda. What does that do for all of us? It drives inflation. That is a tax on all of us. All of the hardworking men and women in this country are paying a tax through higher prices on energy, gasoline, housing, which is driven by overspending in Washington, D.C. Next, we have a wide open southern border. Illegal immigration is killing this country. Crime, drugs, all the ills that come with illegal immigration are coming into this country unfettered because Joe Biden and the open borders crowd, the globalists out there, don't want to do anything about it. They're more interested in votes for the future than what is going on and protecting American people right now. Right. Then, the last thing that I'm going to talk about that's ruining our country is that far-left radical agenda that they are pushing on our children, in our schools. They are pushing that transgender ideology and taking away the innocence of our children. And they are also pushing their radical agenda on all of us through things like, again, their radical climate agenda. They want to take away our rights. They want to take away our freedoms. They want to tell us what kind of car we can drive, what kind of appliances we can have. They want to control all of us. So make no bones about that. That's what they're after. They're after power, and they are after control. And we need a Congress, and we need an executive in the White House who is going to stand up for the American people. So that's why I'm running for office. I'm running because we are losing our country. I'm a 9th generation resident of the Lehigh Valley. My ancestor came here in the 1740s from Germany. He settled in Moore Township in Northampton County. And for 8 generations, my family lived over in Northampton County. 280 years, we didn't get very far. That's okay. We love it here. In that 9th generation, my mom, my dad, they raised me over in Allentown, outside of Allentown. I went to the Parkland School District, graduated from there, went on, got a degree in finance and international business from NYU. Also got my master's degree at Harvard. We've seen how liberal that school is. I witnessed it firsthand. And I took those slings and arrows every single day because I was president of the Republican Club at Harvard. Not a very popular position. Not here to win friends, folks. But you know what? We got arrested out, we changed minds, we registered people to vote. When they went back home, I still stay in touch with these people all across the country. They are Republicans. They're fighting this fight all across our country as well. And now, I have a baby on the way. My wife is pregnant. We have our first child coming. We're looking forward to having a baby boy, a new Republican, join the ranks in March of this year, just a couple months away. But I'm concerned about the future that we're going to leave for him. And so I'm going to tell you now a little bit about what I've done as a state representative. You're going to see how that transitions and transfers over to what's going on in Washington, D.C. And then I'm going to talk about the 2024 election. So as a member of the State House, I have a 12-year track record of voting. I have, during my time in the legislature, built up a pro-life track record that everybody can see. I have built up a pro-Second Amendment voting record, which everybody can see. And I have never voted for a tax increase. Not even the gas tax, which our Republican governor and the Republican leadership in Harrisburg were trying to push down our throats. I voted against that because it's the right thing to do for our American people, our Pennsylvanians, and because they were going to waste all that money. When they said it was for roads and bridges, really it was for SEPTA, it was for walking trails, it was for every pork barrel project you can imagine. And as we see, our roads and bridges are not fixed, but we are all paying that higher gas tax. My voting record is also one that adopts and has changed as we have faced new challenges in our country as well. And so what I mean by that is we now have, again, this far left ideology being pushed in our schools. I voted for curriculum transparency for our parents so that we all know what's going on in our schools. I voted to protect women in sports because it is so important that they have a place where they can be based on merit and compete fairly.
Yeah.
I've also worked very hard, not just to vote the right way, but to actually be a leader in Harrisburg. And so I'm going to tell you two quick stories about cases where we led and we actually made positive change. So the first was in 2017. We had Governor Wolf, far left, maybe the most liberal governor in the country, and he was proposing a $2 billion tax increase. And so myself and about 15 of my colleagues, we came together. There was a budget impasse for a number of months. We said, we're not voting for that tax increase. It's totally unnecessary. We literally locked ourselves in a conference room for a number of weeks. And you can find it. This is documented online. You can find it. And so we went line by line through the Pennsylvania state budget. Tens of billions of dollars. We hear about that all the time from people. I'm going to rein in spending. I'm going to go line by line through the budget. We did it. And all of a sudden, after we went through what we call the general fund, we got to the back of the phone book. There's literally a budget book. It's about as thick as a phone book. We got to the back of it, and there's a section called Other Special Funds. And what we found was that $2 billion was available and accessible in those 218 other special funds. We put forward our own budget, a taxpayer's budget, and we introduced it at a press conference for everybody to see, everybody to scrutinize. We told them our logic, we told them our rationale, told them how we did it. And you know what? We avoided a $2 billion tax increase that year. We spent the money that was already being collected from taxpayers, made sure that we didn't have any new taxes in that budget. We got it done. Over the will of a Democrat governor, we were actually able to get that no tax increase budget passed into law. The next thing I'm going to tell you is about illegal immigration. I've talked about how that is ruining our country. And so a number of people in both union and non-union stakeholders in the construction industry came to me back in 2018 and told me how they were facing competition from illegal labor, which was undercutting them on their bids because their workers weren't paying taxes, they weren't paying unemployment, they weren't paying benefits, and they were taking American jobs and driving down American wages. And so I came up with a proposal that would utilize E-Verify. It is a Department of Homeland Security program which you can easily check the immigration status of a worker very quickly just with the information that you're already collecting for that new employee. And then we put into the legislation, we said there's going to be a penalty. If you don't use this in the construction industry, you're going to face stiff fines, possibly debarment of your company. And so we introduced that legislation. The Open Borders crowd came out against me guns blazing. They ran ads against me. They told how I was a racist, how I was, anti-immigrant, all the horrible things that they're going to do to us again in this election coming up. I went around person to person in the General Assembly, 203 members of the House of Representatives, 50 members over in the Senate. Got a lot of no's on the Democratic side, that's understandable. But at the end of the day, we got every single Republican in the House and Senate, and we got over 50% of the Democrats to go against their governor, who had said that he was going to veto that legislation. And we have three options here in Pennsylvania. You get a bill to the governor. He can veto it, he can sign it into law, or after 10 days he can let it lapse into law, and become law, without his signature, without his approval. Well, we passed that legislation with over 2/3 majority, veto-proof majorities, through the House and Senate, and we got that into law against his will, against his wishes, And that is now law here in Pennsylvania to protect jobs in the construction industry for American workers. We need to do more of that. So that's the kind of track record that I've built up in Harrisburg. We can do more of that at the national level as well. We hear about, again, all these issues that I've talked about, these ills that are facing the country. We need to rein in that wasteful spending. We need to make sure that we're not passing on taxes to our citizens. I have signed a no new taxes pledge as part of my campaign. We're going to crack down on that border. We need to reinstate Donald Trump policies to protect our border. We need to make sure that we are cutting off the magnets that draw illegal immigrants to this country. We need to make sure we expand the use of E-Verify like I talked about at the federal level. We need to crack down on birther tourism, which is going on so that people can have anchor babies in this country. We need to do a lot more at the federal level than what's going on right now. And we need to have a legislature that's going to do that. We need to have a congressman for this district who has an America First policy, an America First belief system. And ultimately, we need to get an executive in the White House who's going to do those things. And that's why I have also endorsed for President Donald Trump. And that's not something new for me. So some people would say, oh, it's a campaign, of course you're going to endorse me as the front runner, all this stuff. I endorsed and supported Donald Trump in 2016. I was one of the first elected officials in Pennsylvania. You can find the news articles on them. I stood up against my party. They all wanted globalist Marco Rubio. Okay? I was the one who said, I'm for Donald Trump. 2020, let's take a step back. Before 2020, Donald Trump appointed me to 2 boards in his administration. Okay? 2020, I supported Donald Trump again. And in 2024, if we want to take our country back, we need to not only elect a Republican legislature in the House of Representatives, we need to get a Republican Senate, and we also need to elect Donald Trump. Yeah. If we don't do that, you can say all the nice things you want on your campaign trail. But I got elected by running on a ticket with Donald Trump in 2016, 2020, and I'm going to do it again in 2024. I hope you'll join me in that fight. Thank you, and God bless America.
Thank you, Ryan. All right, our third candidate today, Maria Montero. Where are you, Maria? Oh, there she is. So welcome, Maria.
Hi, everyone. I'm Maria Montero. The most important reason why we're here is one question. Who wants to fire Susan Wild?
Yeah!
Who wants to fire Susan Wild?
Yeah!
And tell me why. Is it because we're patriots? We are patriots. We are patriots and USA. We are patriots, and that's why we are here. I'm Maria Montero. I'm running for Congress in the 7th Congressional District.
Not running.
Born and raised here. Lived here over 30 years. This district has Carbon, Lehigh, Northampton, and parts of Monroe County. It's a very diverse district. And you know what's really important too, and I wanted to thank all of my volunteers and friends that have come here, because I couldn't do this without your support and your prayers. And I also think about the shoulders, the giants that I am standing on top of because of the sacrifices that my family made to come here. I'm a first-generation American. Our family worked so hard to make sure that I could make it through and survive and thrive. My great-grandfather was a Carbon County coal miner. He would go into the mines before the sun would rise. He'd be there past the sunset. I think about my Italian immigrants who came over, not speaking English, but they came here for one thing, and that is the American dream. Do you believe in that? I do, and I know who doesn't. Joe Biden and Susan White. And you know why? Because they think that the government is there to save you, save everything, but that's not how I was raised. We pull ourselves up by our bootstraps. And it's time that these folks know that real Americans with real hard work that don't need the government involved in their life is how we are going to make our country better. A picture speaks 1,000 words. And I wanted to share with you a video that can help explain a little bit about the genesis and about my campaign. My whole life, people have asked me, where are you from? Meaning, what country am I from? And as a kid, I was always so confused because I thought it was obvious. I'm American, and I was living the American dream growing up between the Panther Valley and the Lehigh Valley. My story is like so many others who call our region home. I'm a daughter of an immigrant, and my great-grandparents were Carbon County coal miners. My parents made sacrifices to give me opportunities they never had. During college, I had my son, and with my family support, I earned my degree and graduated from law school. As a young mom, I certainly had my hands full. Putting my son first led to amazing opportunities to be of service to others in our community, like coaching in sports and volunteering. Service is at the core of who I am. My professional career has focused on empowering others. As Executive Director of the Pennsylvania Commission for Women, my team and I work to strengthen women's voices in government and provide greater economic opportunity for women. As the leader of the Pennsylvania Latino Commission, we prioritize improving educational outcomes. And now, as an attorney, I fight for those who the system has left behind. In my lifetime, I have never seen as many people being left behind by our broken political system. Too many politicians are prioritizing self-interest and the interests of crony corporations over those of hard-working families right here at home. Too many families are living paycheck to paycheck, and it's never been more expensive to raise and feed a family. And the safety of our loved ones is a major issue. Crime is rising and drugs are flowing through our borders into our communities. However, working together, we can get our country back on the right track. We must put Pennsylvania families first and empower small businesses. We need to secure our community by backing law enforcement and securing the border. This isn't the Pennsylvania I grew up in. High taxes, high inflation, and the Biden-Harris agenda is ruining our country. Our home, our way of life, and the future of our children and our grandchildren are worth fighting for. The question shouldn't be, where are you from, but where do you want to be? I'm Maria Montero, a Republican with conservative values, and I hope to earn the honor to serve you as your Congresswoman. Being at a Tea Party meeting, I couldn't help but think about what the origins of our young folk group are. And if we could think back to 9/11 in 2001, I was working at the Attorney General's office right on Hamilton Street under Mike Fisher. I just dropped my son off at the Montessori School right on Broadway. And every time I used to get into the office, first thing I did is I checked out the judge report. Anyone remember the judge report? I couldn't believe my eyes. I look at the screen, and I see one of the Twin Towers with plumes of smoke coming out. And all of the buildings downtown in Allentown were closed, left right away to pick up my son. And one of the moms that had a child there at the Montessori school,
She was actually at the Pentagon. And if you remember back then, cell phones weren't working. We didn't know if our loved ones who were in New York were safe, those who were on flights, if they were alive, and the Pentagon. And I think about 9/11 all the time. I lost a friend, and we lost family members. And I think about 9/12, which is what this group is named for. Do you remember how unified we were? You remember that day? That's what I want for our Republican Party. I want that unity. I want that singular focus of understanding what our founding fathers created for our country, for us to have that freedom and that liberty. They fought, they sacrificed their lives, but that's for us, and it's our time. It's our time to bring them. I remember also that unity, how quickly it was destroyed by one of the worst presidents in the United States, Barack Obama.
Damn right.
We had a wonderful country. I was so happy with how our economy was going, and Barack Obama gets in there and he swipes it clean. But guess what, folks? People like you, and you, and you, all of us got together. And we are the patriots who was like Donald Trump, baby. And that's how we got our country back. We got our country back with Donald Trump. And that is so important for us to remember, because we need candidates who are going to be able to partner with him, walk with him side by side, and make sure that we can grow our party. I am very blessed to be a very diverse person who loves America, but we have an opportunity to grow our party. I hope we can continue that, bringing more women, bringing more Latinos, bringing in more Indians, bringing in everyone who cares about freedom, everyone who cares about liberty. You know, growing up in a very small town, Carbon County, Summit Hill, I looked very different. But one thing I always knew is that my faith and my family, and most important, my country, were my top priorities. My grandfather was one of my role models. Arthur Cardinale. He was a 40-year carpenter member, voted Democrat till the day he died, 99 and 50 weeks. I used to be like, Grandpa, I don't know if I'm going to take you to the polls if you're going to vote Democrat. But it was then where I found my love for civic engagement. My grandfather could not stand Ronald Reagan. However, I loved Ronald Reagan. I remember laying on the floor watching him on the TV with the rabbit ears.
The foil on the rabbit ears?
The rabbit ears. And I remember thinking to myself, well, maybe it doesn't matter that I'm poor. Maybe it doesn't matter that my parents were divorced. Maybe it doesn't matter about the color of my skin. Maybe what really matters is how hard I'm going to work and how hard I'm going to hustle. And that's why I called my campaign Restoring the American Dream. Folks, I already started doing doors. I'm making phone calls. People are suffering. People are losing hope. What can we do to inspire them? Last election cycle wasn't pretty, huh? Are we inspiring people to get out into the polls? Can we get people who can rally the troops? Who do you think can beat Susan Wild? You. Can you say that again louder? So I was very blessed. I hustled, I worked hard. I went to Catholic school in Summit Hill. My family's strapped and saved. I went to Marian Catholic. It's where the folks from Carbon County go. And guess what, guys? I'm an athlete. I like sports. One of my favorite things is beating men in sports also. And so I'm going to bring that to this game too. I like being guys. I played basketball, volleyball, track, and I was actually able to run at the collegiate level. And I'm telling you something, folks, if a guy came up to me and tried to take my spot on the track team, we got some whooping going on. Because that's how I was taught. I've been in the private sector for 20 years. It's not easy to make payroll, make sure you have your quarterly taxes ready to go. I did that. I worked at my family business through college, through law school. My first job out of law school was at a workers' compensation firm in Palmerton. It didn't matter that I had a full-time job. My dad's like, when are you coming in to do payroll? Because that's how it is. And that's the kind of hustle we need to bring to Washington, D.C. If you can't run a hot dog stand and make a plus and be in the black, I'm not sure you should be going to Congress. We need people with private sector experience. We need folks that can tell Washington, no, we're not going to raise taxes. That's why I want to be on the House Ways and Means Committee. I want to lower our taxes. We want to talk about policies that are going to bring America back. Number one, go on to doors. What's the most important issue? Tell me what it is. The border. That's a top issue. What else? Inflation. The economy. That's a top issue. And yes. Supporting our law enforcement. Leadership, integrity. Yeah. And so, top issues. Number one, we need to strengthen our economy. How do we do that? It's proven. Lower taxes. Reduce regulations on business.
Reduce spending.
Reduce spending. It's a $33 trillion budget, right? Can you imagine? Yeah. I've always balanced my budget. So should Washington, D.C.
Damn right.
How else can we boost our economy? Energy independence. Do you remember how much was gas the day Donald Trump left office? We all took pictures, didn't we? We took pictures. Yeah, what's it now? Because guess what? Pennsylvania is sitting on natural gas that can supply to the whole world. Keystone Pipeline, we can reduce the cost of gas for everyone, but what are we doing? We got Biden in there who's shutting down the pipeline. Wrong. Second, and no one mentioned this, but it's so important, it's election integrity.
Damn right.
I am so tired of losing. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of the steal. I'm tired of the losing, and I will tell you, Act 77 was the worst legislation that was ever passed in history. We hold people accountable for that. We need to elect individuals that understand that the steal is real, and that in Congress, what we can do is make sure that we purge voter rolls, demand election integrity, because that's what we deserve. We deserve a vote that we can trust. Securing our borders. My family came here the right way. There was 9 shootings in Allentown. I lived at 6th and Turner and 4th and Allen. 9 shootings. Fentanyl, drugs, it has to stop. And the way we do that is with a strong border. And I hope that all of you, I hope that all of you understand that safety in our community, supporting our law enforcement, it's tough. But I'm also going to finish with one last thing. I want to be on the Education and Workforce Committee. And do you know why? Because I want to kick the federal government out of our schools. I want to kick them out of our bathrooms. And I want to kick them out of my locker room because I don't need the federal government. And I need your help to make sure someone like me can get to Washington and make that happen. So God bless America. Thank you for your help. Yeah.
Thank you, Maria. Bill, you're going to come up for a minute, or you're going to talk from there? All right, Bill Bockenberg has just a few words for us, as he always does.
Thanks, Tom. Good evening, everyone. I'm going to put my glasses on because I want to make sure I read what I've got here correctly. I'd like to give you an update on the Help America Vote Act complaints that we've been filing. It's called HAVA for short. So the Northampton County HAVA complaint was filed November 17th. Believe it or not, it was referred to the governor's office for his legal counsel to hear it. Talk about the fox finding the hen house, right?
Yep. Move along.
Northampton says it should be dismissed because it was just a human error, nothing to see. The complaint was more than substantiating the lack of the logic and accuracy testing. It also put forth the claim that the voting machines are in violation of EAC certification because they use two different systems to register your vote, right? You vote on the one machine, and then another machine next to it prints the ballot, and that's how they got into trouble. And the law says certification has to be one machine. So we're entitled to a hearing, so we'll see what happens next. Lehigh County, we filed a HAVA complaint last week. The Department of State has already claimed that we can't have the Lehigh Valley Tea Party as one of the complainants. Yeah.
Why?
We'll find out why, okay? The complaint covers basically that no logic and accuracy testing has been done in Lehigh County for the last 3 election cycles. Out of over 1,000 ballot combinations, they only tested 9, 6, and 5 ballots for each one of those elections, right? So we have no knowledge whether our elections, the last 3 periods, are correct. Okay. We also filed that the voting machine warehouse is not secure. Doors are left open. Yeah, it's a mess there. The USB memory sticks were left right next to the open door. So when you walked in, all the memory sticks were right there. Somebody could grab them, change them, or swap them. And there's no chain of custody for the USB after they leave the voting precincts. So sometimes they're handed off, they're not put in an envelope, and the election guy will not allow us to witness the reading of those sticks. Yeah. So they must schedule a hearing in the next 30 to 45 days. I want to thank George Rivera as our complainant. I know George isn't here tonight, but he stepped forward and said we've got to fix these problems. We also filed a HAVA complaint in Cumberland County. Cumberland County uses the same machines as Northampton County and Philadelphia. The complaint filed in Cumberland County was the reason we caught the problem in Northampton County is because the retention judges' names were here and here, and you could see whether you said yes or no for retention. There, they didn't bother printing the candidate's name. So it was either a yes or a no, and so a person could not know if the votes were flipped or not.
Of course.
These are the problems going on in PA, people. Okay. The best news last month is they canceled the contract for the New Shore system. That was a license to steal all future elections, whoever owned the Department of State. Same software used in Maricopa County, Arizona. It was evil software, and don't know yet exactly why they canceled it, but they got paid money. I've been working, as you know, for 3 years on this election fraud, and the biggest fraud really is on the American voters, and that our elections are secure, accurate, which is the furthest from the truth here in PA. Over the last few weeks, I decided to document some of those issues. I've got 29 proven election fraud, election integrity issues, just what we've uncovered our small little group. and they're all proven. They're not a bunch of hearsay or guesses. Okay. I'm more than frustrated with our legislators, to say it lightly, and you know what comes out, because they just do nothing. Other than Senator Coleman and Senator Dush, most of our Republican legislators are either clueless, ignorant, or part of the uniparty for the total inaction on election issues. They won't do anything about it because I'm told they're scared to do anything. Scared, right? They're supposed to be our leaders. We even had one of our local legislators say to a group here in Northampton County that Northampton has to use the same voting machines we use in Lehigh County. That's even worse than what Northampton's using. Because at least you see a paper audit trail that comes out of the Northampton machines. You see nothing what comes out of our machines. So, next month when I'm here, I'll get to talk about the 29 election problems. And I want to really thank the Tea Party Board for all their work and all the members here that are coming out to get educated and to pass the word. We've heard 3 candidates talk up here. They resonate with a lot of the issues we've got. And we really need to stand united, or if we're divided, we're all going to fall. So thank you, and look forward to the question and answer period after the break. Thank you.
And just as a real quick follow-up to what Bill just said, we have filings going on tonight in the cases that I've been updating you on. They are about to take the machines from Fulton County into the custody of Pro V&V. They called them a third-party vendor that was neutral, and I caught them when they sent emails that they weren't supposed to me yesterday, colluding with the lawyers for Dominion. So you've seen me run back and forth. I'm in the middle of preparing a filing that's going to get filed tonight to address that issue. So we're in this battle, we're coming after us at every level, and we thank you for your support as well for all of that. Next slide. All right, why do we ask for donations? Obviously you can see we have to pay for the room, we have to pay for the coffee, we have to pay for all the stuff that puts us all together. And so we're asking about $10 per person if you can afford it. If you're short and for cash, use your LVTP chips, and thank you for your donations to keep us going. The next coffee sponsor is again Holy Name Society.
So the Holy Name Society is a fraternity of Catholic males and females. You can join that. They're in Catholic parishes. We're praying for you folks. I want to thank the sponsor from the Holy Name Society. Before we break, we're running a little bit behind, but we're encouraging you to stay throughout the meeting. And before we go to break, I would like to encourage you, one, if you have purchased a membership for the Lehigh Valley Tea Party, to go over here to Joe where it says name tags, pick up your name tag and your ID. If you haven't joined, to go over there to where it says membership. You can pay by cash, check, or credit card. Membership gives you certain privileges, for instance, to vote for board members. And then, of course, our yellow tickets are guns and goodies, not only for the guns, but for our Donald Trump autographed hat. Okay? It's
My hat.
not yours, Dave. Well, it's his signature. We have someone that knows the family. And also remember to get your 50-50 raffle tickets. It should be a good drawing. In the back, Second Amendment, they have a raffle themselves. We're trying to, how many tickets are left back there? Steve, how many tickets left? 24 tickets. Also, there's merchandise, new t-shirts back there. They have the lanyards. At the Cakes and Cannolis, trying to get the Boy Scouts to West Point. Please support that. Go see Val, support the troops. And also, if you're handing any of those yellow tickets, go back to Cakes and Cannolis. Enjoy your break, folks. Don't forget to see your bartender and tip Honky Joe and tell her to send me up a drink.
Hey, he's here! got off. It took me just a little over a half hour to get over. I was going to go home. So I said, let's just go down. I'm going to go see all my friends.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
I don't know how to speak English, but I know a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's all they got. They know they can't win. No.
You see, I know a lot, right? I know a lot.
I'm no fan of these organizations, and we need to be moving our money to solve our problems locally to the best extent we can. Last week, there was a interesting press conference that occurred in the city of Allentown when a bunch of activists and mostly Democratic politicians showed up to decry the gun violence in the city of Allentown. Remember the press on that last week? It was interesting that a bunch of those people that were at that rally decrying the high levels of violence and crime were some of the same people that just a couple of years ago were behind the Defund the Police movement and were demonizing our law enforcement officers. I am very, very proud to announce that I have earned support from two premier law enforcement organizations in the Lehigh Valley. One of them is the organization of the Allentown City Police Department, Fraternal Order of Police, and the other is the organization that represents the state troopers who serve locally in this region, also the Fraternal Order of Police. There's more coming. They support me because of my policies that are tough on crime, that help first responders do their jobs, and most important, because I have their back and give them the benefit of the doubt.
So the who brought us Hunan flu? I think not. And what it comes down to is that some of the biggest threats is how we respond to China. We didn't really get to talk about that today, and I want to bring it up because we're talking about world health. Is that China is the #1 threat that we've had in our country since Adolf Hitler. And it's so important for us to recognize that threat because when we talk about fentanyl and what's coming over the border, that's being created by Chinese scientists in Mexico. #2, they're stealing our farmlands. #3, we have biowarfare. That's why we're talking about World Health Organization. That's what COVID-19 was. And #4, they're hurting our youth. It's not only TikTok. It's what they do with their technology that is permeating every part of our country. And so what I ask is that, who do you think Susan Wild is when she's not standing up to China? Because that should be our #1 job, making sure that we are protected from the Chinese threat.
Thank you, guys. So we're not going to have closing statements tonight. We want to thank both of the candidates for giving us this helpful information and education to help us get engaged in this election process. And we'll see you in March for our candidate forum of sorts. And we'll move on to the rest of the meeting. Andrew.
All right, so our final announcements, we're going to move to the next slide. Thank you to all the candidates. All right, so next month we have a Second Amendment meeting, Thursday, January 11th at the Lehigh Valley Sporting Place. All right, this is an important one. We didn't do the pig roast last summer, or this past summer. Some of you were disappointed. There was reasons within our organization. We just couldn't pull it off. But we decided, okay, we'll try to get together next Friday, January 12th. The price is $25 if you're a member, $35 if you're not a member. That's an encouragement for you to become a member. So the menu will be sausage and peppers, chicken francaise, I believe, and vodka pasta. And Hunky Joe, your bartender, is going to make cabbage and noodles. You have to buy the ticket tonight. So go over to see Ty and Isabel to buy those tickets, okay?
What about the salad?
The salad, we'll have salad, I think, yeah. Ladies love salad.
And you're a vegan.
You know what, I know everyone like myself, I've been on a diet for the last 2 weeks, the only thing I lost was 14 days. Next one. I gotta tell you one, Emily and I have to tell you one if I can remember. All right, Berks County Patriots, next meeting Thursday, January 18th. If you have any questions or concerns, take that picture now. All right, next one. All right, Rank Light Committee. So we are going down to Washington, D.C. We have a chartered bus that's leaving out of Easton. Take a picture of that. It is Friday, January 19th. Captain Mel, myself, Emily, there's several people in the room. My bus is starting to fill up. At the beginning of the year, I had like 10 seats full. Today, I got like 10 calls, so it's booking quick. It's inexpensive. That bus cost me $3,000. Okay, Lehigh Valley Tea Party. Next month, nominations for the executive board seats. Just so you're aware, the following 6 current board members, their terms are expiring, which include Jim Rush, Tom Carroll, Andrew Zahn III, Al Smith, Bill Buckerberg, and Franklin Cope. Potentially one more open seat. All nominations will be from the floor, so that's during next month's meeting. Oh, real quick, on becoming a board member, we're looking for people that just don't want to come here with ideas, but we're looking for people who have already skills and talents. We have a lot of ideas, but we need people who are willing to roll up the sleeves, to do things before the meeting, after the meeting, and have organizational, managerial skills. Okay?
And just to remind everyone, the actual election for those board seats will take place in the March meeting.
Correct. All right, next month's meeting will be here Thursday, February 1st. And at that meeting, we will have petitions to sign. So I think that, oh yeah, I have it here. Petition period will be Thursday, that's wrong, a typo here. Anyway, it's Thursday, January 23rd through Tuesday, February 13th. It's a 3-week period. And then here, Thursday, it is correct. Thursday, February 1st, we will have petitions signing here. We will open the doors at 6, maybe even a little bit earlier, so you will have an opportunity to sign for congressional candidates, president, senate, Congress, and also if you want to be what is called a county committee person. Is Joe Bichot still here in the audience? Joe Bichot, I saw. Joe Bichot, stand up there. He's your Lehigh County chair. My opinion, he's doing a great job. Glenn Dykstra was not able to come tonight, and I'm the vice chair of the Northampton County Party. So a committee person is your lowest elected office that you can get elected for. So if you're interested in knowing more about that, see Tom or myself or Joe Bichot. Okay?
In terms of that, we're going to train in the next few weeks, so we'll be in touch with you through various mechanisms. It's important. Every single person here, you have the time to get 10 signatures and become a committee person so that like-minded conservatives are on these Republican county committees. And there's one other race that's going to take place in this election cycle, and that is for delegate to the National Convention. So that's also something you would have to circulate petitions, and if you're interested in that, come and see me.
Also, one big thing I think Tom and I can make sure that you're aware, you can only sign for one candidate. For instance, congressional, you can only sign for one of the 3 of them. President, you can't sign for Trump and Nikki. You can only sign for one of them. So please do not make that mistake and ruin that petition. 50-50, I think they have a link back there.
I want to thank everyone and thank Tim for filling in for my lovely wife, Mo. And Laura's going to pick the ticket. Tonight's winner is going to get $195. And the winning ticket is, she's digging around nicely. All right, we have 0983262. 0983262. I'll interrupt here and go back and bring your ticket to them. Yep.
All right, closing remarks. We have one elected mayor out of, sir, just real quick, your name real quick, just introduce yourself.
Eric Ramirez, mayor of Coaldale, Pennsylvania, Schuylkill County. And I believe I'm the first Hispanic Latino Republican mayor in Pennsylvania history.
All right, closing remarks. Tom, 30 seconds, go.
The January 6th political prisoners, go to that website. They need help. There's a lot of people still in jail, haven't had trials. This is a terror state that they are perpetrating upon us, and there's a lot of innocent people in jail, and they need your help. And just remember, just on Saturday is the anniversary of January 6th, and Biden's going to be in Valley Forge. How disgusting is that?
All right, closing remarks. We want to thank you for coming out this evening. We want to thank our 3 congressional candidates.
but most of all, again, you. We hope you become members. Don't go anywhere because we're going to do that Guns and Goodies raffle now. Okay? And there's the website right there if you want to take a picture of that. I don't know if any of you were down there on January 6th. All right, so we're going to set up for the Guns and Goodies. So last call if anyone wants to buy tickets. Here's the link. All right, I'm going to ask for the following people to come up. Captain Mel, if you could come up right over here. Jackie, she's still here? Jackie, come on up. Valerie, Annette and Kate, if you could come up. They're going to be our drawers. All right, we're going to have Annette come up first. I want to thank Annette. When we decided to do this gun raffle, I won't throw her under the bus. She says, are we going to pull this off? I said, of course we're going to pull it off. Remember what Rush Limbaugh always said? Never doubt me. I'll tell you when to lose hope. So we have done good with this raffle. Annette is a big part of this. All right, Annette, first ticket, and let me see what you have the sheet, and that one will be the first one. The first one is a Glock 43X 9mm. Dottie Link from Coopersburg, PA. Does anyone know Dottie Link? Is there a seller on there? They want to know who sold the ticket. Dory Ward. All right, next one. Okay, next one. All right, next one. Next one is for a Ruger, 380 ACP, Ruger. Steve from the Second Amendment. The seller was himself. It says here he will donate the gun for Melissa Gallagher. Captain Mel, come on up. You're going to draw the next three. Captain Mel was one of our board members. And then I have to see what the next prize is.
Oh, I'm sorry.
All right. Oh, look at that. Next one, Smith & Wesson Equalizer 9mm, Bud Norris. Number 4, Glock 19, 9mm, Louis Mioso from Easton, PA. Oh, I was the seller. There we go. Hold on. All right. Number 5. Any sick people out there? 6 Tower. Mike. This is my buddy sold it. Mike Patopi, sold by my buddy Dave Diallo. All right. Next up, Kitty, our secretary extraordinaire from the Lehigh Valley Tea Party. A little bit louder. She wants to hear that. She's pulling for a Springfield Hellcat. Anyone a Springfield person? Aha! Emily, our bartender Randy downstairs. He bought this ticket tonight from Emily. Hunky Joe, did you buy a ticket? Yeah. All right. Next one. Ladies and gentlemen. The Donald J. Trump hat. Everyone say, Kitty, reach in there. Shake it up. There it is. Doreen Savanda. Jackie is Doreen's daughter. All right. Next up, Valerie, if you could come on up, please. Valerie from Support the Troops, one of the original members of the Tea Party. Our next one is for Boyer Hardware, $100. And the winner is David Blair, sold by David Blair from Hellertown. Is David Blair here? David, all right, see us afterwards. All right, next one, Lehigh Valley Sporting Clays. Judd, good, sold by Marianne Denuva. Oh, this lady contacted me, she sold $660 worth of tickets. So we had some that sold more than that, but can't wait to tell her. Okay? Anson Belt, that's in that blue crate there, Emily. Anson Belt is a concealed carry. It's a belt with a steel base in it. So that one is, oh, my chiropractor, Charles Kennedy. I sold that one there. I wanted to be a chiropractor, but I couldn't adjust to the profession. It's not all that it's cracked up to be. All right, what do we got here? Orchard Steakhouse. Did anyone go to the Orchard Steakhouse? Yeah, Orchard Steakhouse, $75 gift card. Ed Roberts from Allentown, sold by Ed Roberts. Number 11. All right, Jackie, come on up. All right, now the next one is Diageo Restaurant. So Joe Rufino, he sold, Emily and I had to go up, he sold a couple $100 worth of tickets. Oh, look at this, William Reese from Makanji. William's here somewhere. There he is. Bill, I'm available for lunch. I know Joe will treat us well. So that was number 12. Next one, number 13, Friends of the Tea Party Farm and Table, a $50 gift card. That is Scott S-C-H-O Stoinger from Chris, I think it's Kutztown, sold by Steve Stoinger? That's you again? Oh, your brother, all right. He didn't go to Catholic school, I can't read his writing over there. All right, next one, 14, Diageo Restaurant, another $50 gift card for another person from Bethlehem, Stephen, F-O-G-T. Stephen Foget, sold by the same person. All right, two more. Pizza Chef. All right, this one, Ben Prentice from New York. Ben Prentice. So that's number 15. Last one, correct? 16. Don Juan Mexican Grill. He was one of our speakers a few months ago. Oh, Jimmy Rush, you got a winner here. Someone named Donald Klein. Donald Klein. So Emily and I were on vacation. Let's leave with something smart. Let me see if I remember. Emily and I were on vacation. We were walking on the beach in Antigua, and there came a team said, what do we have to lose? So I said, let's open it up. A genie popped out of the bottle. And the genie says, well, you each get your standard one wish. So Emily, of course, said, well, I'd like to take a year-round vacation. She said, I would like the tickets, the hotels, everything, the amenities, the food taken care of. Of course, this was a dream. But poof, a box showed up there, all the tickets, the restaurants, the itinerary, what do they call that? The concierge and all that. All right? And then they said, well, what would you like? I said, well, I always wanted, a female in my life that's about 30 years younger. Woo! I was 95 years old. Ladies and gentlemen, have a safe trip home. God bless you all. Thank you very much.